Writing Autobiography. Every night before I slept, my mother read me prose about mythical lands and lessons that we can learn from our friends and foes. She told me tales about ancient Asia and the lessons we must learn, and these stories taught me that I must work hard for everything I earn. She told me tales about the lady who lives in the moon among the stars, and about the sleeping dragon in a land isolated and far. She told me about red envelopes and why we shouldn't sleep on New Year's Day, why Taiwan's a paradise for her, and what her parents used to say. She wanted me to learn about the country from which she came and acquire all her favorite morals so I can know them just the same. And listening to these tales every night before I closed my eyes would fill the darkness with images until the sun would rise. I spent my time in bookstores surrounded by Seuss and Patterson, reading but not knowing they'd influence my own creations. All these beautiful stories that my mother used to tell made me want to be someone who could write things just as well. So I picked up a tiny pencil and scribbled words on empty sheets, and my mother would tell me every time I was the best author she would ever meet. However, when she read my poems that would rhyme, she would smile at the sound of them and appreciate them every time. My mother wrote all my pieces, although some were hard for her to understand, because I wrote in a language different than the one from her homeland. I liked how she liked my words and how we could connect through literature, so my style gravitated towards poetry because it was the easiest to read for her. But my fairy tales and happy endings changed as I did too, reflecting some of the grief I felt and the sorrow I went through. Writing became my protection, my place to rant and express. It was my something that could fill my heart when I could feel only emptiness. And poetry, emotions, metaphors that turn pain into beauty became my savior by helping me get through times of agony. Then I realized that if they helped me so much, words could also help other people. So I took to sharing my previously private pieces to a blog and online journal. I wrote about feelings in hopes that others would connect, and when a contest published my works, I gained my own respect. I started to see myself more as a writer, and writing made me feel so much better and lighter. Now at age 16, writing has never meant more. It's become my passion that I, with all my heart, adore. I've become the kind of writer who writes about what occurs, who puts into words and phrases things that are hard to say for her. My biggest influence in writing is none other than Edgar Allan Poe, who creates heartbreaking art by just writing what he knows. I hope that one day I can spin pain into beauty, into something that can touch the hearts of so many. I'm not sure if I ever will become someone as well known as he, but just being able to evoke emotion in a few would mean so much to me. And although I'm already a writer, I know I can still improve. And through a class at my school, I have seen my progress move. Creative writing, too, has changed so much for me, molding me into becoming the type of writer I want to be. I learned that although feelings can help add depth to writing, techniques and wording can still have an impact on everything. Imagery and structure, revealing details not specifically said, can make all the difference in deciding the significance of what one has read. I wrote a personal essay that was hard for me to write about being in an abandoned building in a time when I felt more darkness than light. I focused on my tone, metaphors that expressed what was in my heart, and painted a picture of a crumbling house, alone and falling apart. And although I had first been too afraid, I shared my piece with other people, and just like I've always wanted, they called it relatable. I was proud of opening myself to a style I had not used before, and for once just look at what I wrote and not a number that tells what I scored. In that moment, I felt like those that I've always looked up to, writing what I know and what I feel is truly true. I learned so much and grew a lot too by retaining so much knowledge, and now I know how to not only write but also edit and evaluate a passage. I hope that as I grow, writing will never leave, because it has been the greatest gift that I will ever receive. I hope I will write books that epitomize the power of letters, so that maybe one day what I write can make someone's life a little better. And lastly, when I have kids, I will hold them close each night and tell them my own stories, the ones I will one day write. Thank you.